Hello, welcome again to Zenzero Electronics about electronics. Today we are gonna follow a user suggestion about why my amp, the Beast, which I detailed in a previous video, might be fizzy on its half power settings. We are gonna take a look at the suggestion of the user. We are gonna investigate if it's correct. If that's the case, we are gonna try to solve the problem by changing how the switching around the half power mode of a beast works. And in that case, I might try to add some relays to the circuit so to make the switching more efficient and more local to the parts that's being switched. So I guess my plan to never ever open up the beast again is already folded. Let's get to work. So let's first take a look at how the half power switch is implemented in the beast. The main inspiration for how it works is from this Mesa Mark II schematics, where the half power switch is just this really simple switch that just ungrounds two of the power tubes. So following the same idea, I implemented my half switch, which here ungrounds, in this case, the two external power tubes, but I also added the changing of the output impedance to match now the fact that we're using just two power tubes and not four, plus just a simple change of an LED. I also added the last time this switch separate but logically connected that I use in combination with the half power mode, and that changes this resistor, which is the last one in the power section before we reach the screen of the power tubes, so that we keep the voltage on the screens low enough. For a throughout discussion of this topic, please refer to my previous video on the beast. So the suggestion from a viewer Salome in 2008 is that when I disconnect this and this tube from ground, the high voltage that I apply to the anode of the tubes might still have a way to leak out from the grid of the tube and influence the biasing of the two tubes which are still active, or just flow back to ground through this Zener diode, and anyway creating some fizziness in the circuit. So now I'm gonna open up and I'm gonna try to measure, like, if I can measure if anything really comes out from here when I disconnect the cathode of these tubes. And so let's have some fun with the oscilloscope. Here is our input signal, is a 1 kilohertz sinusoid wave, and on channel 2 I have a signal at the grid of one of the tube that doesn't get cut off from the circuit when I switch to half power mode. Let's turn on the volume. It's really annoying, but so this is the wave at the grid in half power mode. I would expect in full power mode to see exactly the same thing. Let's see. Yeah, just louder. Here half power mode again. So let's just turn down the volume.
So I don't see any reason to believe that the way I cut the power in the half power mode by just ungrounding two of the power tubes would be the cause of the fizziness. If there is some fizziness, it's just probably due to excessive distortion, excessive amplitude of the wave that reaches the power tube stage. I also tried to measure the DC voltage drop at the 1.5K resistor at the grid of one of the tubes that is cut out when I switch to half power mode. Here it's half power mode and there is no voltage drop, and so no current is flowing through this resistor, as there is no current flowing in full power mode. So I think it's safe to say that we don't have any DC running out through the anode of the tube and out from the grid of the tube. Anyway, I still feel like playing with some relays to make the circuit just a bit less convoluted. So stick with me, let's see if we can improve the switching system. So I have a few of these 3 volts relays I bought a few years ago. They are Goldwing, supposed to be surface mounted, but I think I can try to solder them anyway on some perforated board like this. And because I have these ones, they're in stock, I'm gonna try to substitute 1 or 2 of these to some of the switching that's going on inside the amp. So the plan is to build a bridge rectifier and then have some caps and some resistor to drive a LM317, which is a voltage regulator, and getting some cleanish 3 volts out of this to power these relays. Let me think about where I could fit these relays inside the amp, and then I'm gonna figure out some schematics for it. Here is inside the beast. Here is the power amp section, and here is the extra perforated board I added just to put the grid resistors and the screen resistors of the power tubes. As you can see, I have some space around here, and I think I might be able to fit 1 or 2 relays here. Let's think it through. I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna see what I can do with it. So I was able to wire up this bridge rectifier, which I attached to the 5 volts AC. I have a smoothing cap and a linear voltage regulator. I tested it and I get exactly 3 volts DC out from this regulator. So that looked promising. What now I'm gonna do, I'm gonna install the relay somewhere in here, and I'm gonna use it to unground 2 of the output tubes and to switch the output impedance of the amplifier, while the switching of the red and yellow diode and the switching of the drop resistor for the voltage of the screen of the output tubes, which before was at the other small switch, I would assign those to the physical switch here. So because it's a 3-pole double throw, it's gonna switch itself, the LED and the resistor, or it's gonna switch the relay, the output impedance of amplifier, and the ungrounding of 2 of the output tubes. Also, by placing the relay in this position, it's going to be closer to both the switch selector of the output impedance and to the cathode resistor, which I plan to unground when ungrounding the two of the output tubes. So now it's just going to be a lot of rewiring.
So it seems like I'm done with this upgrade. I put here the full bridge rectifier from the 5 volts AC and the voltage regulator that gives me 3 volts DC, and I fixed it to this with this screw. That part that's fixed to the screw is the output of a voltage regulator, so I have to be careful that that's isolated. It seems to be isolated, seems to be fine, giving 3 volts. And then that's our relay. Let's cross our fingers and turn it up. So here is where we are at with the beast. I put in the relay and nothing was working. Track down the problem after a lot of effort to a really weak soldering connection on one of the screen wire that was causing every problem, all the fizziness and the low power output, everything. I fixed that, I closed the amp, and now I swear I will never open it again. So now it has too much volume and the gain control, it gets really loud right away, but it sounds really good. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go ahead and do a sound test, and that should be about it. So what did you guys think? I thought, sorry, I just do this segment from under the table, but I thought the beast really sounds great now. We weren't able to find any current flowing out from the grid, and I think that should be it, generally speaking. But in the process of adding the relay, I fixed probably a bad solder joint, and on the other side, we simplified the path of the signal. So I think both thing actually help. Probably the bad solder joint was the thing that influenced the most the sound in a bad way, but I think also the fact that the signal had to travel several times back and forth to the switch in front, here in the front panel, while now it just stays in the area where it's supposed to stay, might help too with sound quality. So thumb up to relays and to a beast. That sounds really awesome. Next project will be to try it out in a studio at full volume. I am really looking forward to it. Just have to find the time to bring the beast out for a walk. Anyway, as usual, check out our website, check out our pedals and t-shirt, and I will see you soon.